As a lot of you probably know, the UK is currently rolling out its new digital ID system and it's already gotten a fair bit of backlash. The government, of course, claims it's the future of convenience, but many see it as the start of a surveillance state. So how safe are digital IDs really, and are they actually a good idea? Many countries around the world have already implemented some form of digital ID system. Some have turned them into everyday essentials that make life easier, while others have run into serious problems with privacy or data leaks. But let's start with the model of successful implementation, the country that pretty much everyone points to when they talk about doing digital IDs right: Estonia. Since the early 2000s, Estonia has built one of the world's most advanced e-governance systems. Today, all of Estonia's government services are available online, and over 98% of citizens have a digital ID card they use to access them. Estonians use their digital ID for basically all high-trust services, from paying taxes to accessing healthcare records and even voting online. Reports show that approximately 70% of ballots are cast digitally, the highest share of online voting anywhere in the world. And instead of storing everyone's data in one massive server, each agency keeps control of its own information, and every data exchange between them is fully encrypted and recorded. It's a trust-based system. Every citizen can see who's accessed their personal information, so if a police officer or doctor, for example, looks at your record, it's always visible to you. That transparency is one of the reasons Estonians actually like their digital ID system. Estonia built its system around trust and decentralization, but all the way on the other side of the world, another small country took an almost opposite route and still made it work. In Singapore, you don't use your digital ID just for government services, it's your key to almost everything online. At the center of that system is SingPass, a government-backed digital ID that connects you to more than 2,000 services, both public and private. In a similar manner to Estonia, you use it to pay taxes and check your medical records, but in Singapore, the same ID is also used in everyday private life for things like setting up SIM cards and applying for jobs. The data used by SingPass is stored in another system called MyInfo, which holds verified details about each resident. So instead of filling out endless forms, you can simply authorize MyInfo to share your data directly with most services. The idea is simple: your data is already verified by the government, so services become faster and almost effortless. Now, Singapore doesn't give citizens as much visibility into who access their data as Estonia does, but it enforces strict data protection laws through the Personal Data Protection Act, or PDPA. The people of Singapore just trust the government to handle their data responsibly. But when it comes to digital IDs, it's not all dancing on roses. Take Denmark, for example, a country that's often held up as one of the most successful adopters of digital IDs, yet on Friday, November 29, 2024, a nationwide outage suddenly locked citizens out of banking, healthcare, and other necessary services. In Denmark's case, the outage only lasted for a few hours and no serious harm was done, but in other countries, digital IDs have caused much larger problems. India's Aadhaar is a perfect example of what can happen when a digital ID system grows too fast and too big to control. Launched in 2009, Aadhaar is the world's largest digital identity system, holding the fingerprints, iris scans, and demographic data of over 1.3 billion people. The idea was to give every Indian a unique identity number and make welfare distribution more efficient, and to some extent it worked. Aadhaar made it easier for millions to open bank accounts and receive payments directly. But as the system expanded, so did the problems. Although Aadhaar was meant to be voluntary, it quickly became the standard for things like bank accounts, SIM cards, school enrollments, and even hospital access. The Indian Supreme Court eventually ruled that the government couldn't force Aadhaar for every service, but by then, it had already become impossible to live without it. And when everything depends on one ID, any weakness in that system can become a national risk. In 2018 alone, more than 200 government websites accidentally exposed citizens' Aadhaar numbers along with linked information such as names, bank details, and addresses. On top of that, Poor quality scanners, network issues, and worn or damaged fingerprints of the physical workforce left many people without their food rations or other welfare benefits. So while Aadhaar made life easier for many, for others, it turned access to basic services into a daily struggle with poor digital infrastructure. And India isn't alone. In some countries, the risks go even further. If India's challenge was scale, Nigeria's problem is trust. In 2012, Nigeria launched its National Identity Number, or NIN, a digital ID meant to unify citizen records and cut down on fraud. Over the next decade, it became tied to everything from bank accounts to SIM cards. And Nigerians weren't exactly given a choice. In 2021, the government ordered citizens to link their SIM cards to their NIN or risk losing mobile service altogether. That sparked chaos. People queued for hours at registration centers, and many communities with poor connectivity struggled to enroll. Then came the data security scandals. In 2024, cybersecurity researchers found that personal information from the national ID database were being sold online for just a few dollars per record. For many Nigerians, this was the breaking point. When digital identity is tied to basic connectivity and security cannot be guaranteed, people stop trusting not just the system, but the state behind it. Nigeria shows that technology alone doesn't build trust. When transparency and security are missing, a digital ID can quickly turn from a gateway to opportunity into a symbol of control. So, what do we actually learn from all this? Digital IDs clearly have potential, as shown by Estonia, Singapore, and plenty others. But when they become too fragile, too mandatory, or too centralized, they start creating more risks than solutions. Where the UK ends up on that spectrum remains to be seen. So what do you think? Should we all start using digital IDs, or keep our current systems till we can really trust the digital ones? And if that's the case, when can we really trust them? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and as always, thanks for your time, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one.